Okay, welcome to Galactic Musician. Today we're in the studio and we're joined by our co-host and co-founder here, John Owen, and we're lucky to have a gentleman in studio with us, local musician, bit of a legend, from what I hear, and we're going to find all about him today, but he's good friends with John. So John, I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
Right, this is Rick Christian. We've been playing music since high school.
Yep.
And we were in several different bands, and he's got his own band going right now. It's pretty good. We'll get into that later on. But Rick's a Tallahassee, somewhat native. He grew up in St. Pete and then moved up this way, and been here for a while. Then lived over in Fort Walton, and got a lot of influence from musicians over that way.
That's correct.
To where you are kind of today.
So tell us about yourself, Rick. Are you a native to Tallahassee?
Well, I was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I was there till I was about 14, and pretty much that kind of started me with music. When I was young, my sister took piano lessons, so we had a piano, and my sister's 10 years older than me, so she was all about music when I was real young, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So I was hearing Jerry Lee and Fats Domino and all this stuff,
Wow. Okay.
and on TV seeing it. And of course I was drawn to the music, and so she was my big sis and would want to dance with me or whatever. And we had a piano, and I used to play the piano every chance I'd get, but my mom, if she caught me doing it, would threaten to do lessons.
Oh, wow.
Like my sister was doing, and I did not want to do that.
You
So
saw that.
I had to sneak it. But that's kind of where music started, and I always used to sing along to the radio. I had a gut feeling that people liked the way I sang when I was young, because I would sing to people all the time.
Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I played a badminton racket when I was young. For pre-air guitar.
I think I just like to entertain and make people laugh and just get a little attention or something.
Cool. I noticed all the guys you named were piano players.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, I don't know. Was that a sign of the times or what? Because a lot of guys, Jerry Lee, Fats Domino, Little Richard.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was just drawn to it. I remember my sister had a date one time with the guy in the band, and he went over and played the piano, and before he left, he played a little bit. He played like a boogie woogie thing or something, I remember going, I'm going to learn how to do that one day.
That's great.
Yeah.
So your sister kind of got you interested into it. Anybody in your family play music?
No, she didn't continue with it either. We moved, and they didn't bring the piano.
Wow.
And so we moved when I was about 9, I think, 9 or
Okay.
10. So the piano was gone,
Yeah.
but sports was coming into the thing, and girls, and
Yeah.
I was busy.
It's kind of maybe what got me. No, that's not what got me into music, but truth be known, that was part of it for sure. Where'd you move to after that?
When we moved, it was out on the beach. We were in St. Pete. We were kind of across the bridge in a nice subdivision.
Yeah.
But my dad's got a better job, and things started happening for him. And the next thing I knew, we moved over the bridge and onto the water. And it was a great life. Had a swimming pool.
Oh, you're like that's like the cat's ass, as
Yeah,
they said in the 20s.
That was a great place.
Absolutely.
I loved it. Yeah.
On the water,
Yeah,
man.
right on the water. Had my own sailboat, all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
Great life.
Cool.
Great life.
Well, what got you to Tallahassee?
He was promoted to Commissioner of Education. I believe Turlington was his name, had retired, I think, or something. And I think it was Governor Askew, I'm not sure, but had appointed my dad to be state superintendent.
Wow.
So the next thing you know, you couldn't turn that job down. So
No.
next thing I know, my dad didn't want to tell me, but when he finally did tell me, we moved 2 weeks later.
Oh, from the beach in St. Pete to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice town, but
Yeah, it was a shocker. But,
wow.
I kind of, I guess, crawled in a little shell for about a year.
Were you into music at that time?
All I ever would do is if anybody had a piano, I would play it. you know, even back in St. Pete, once my mom didn't bring the piano, there was other friends of mine that had a piano in their house, and I would always be drawn to that.
Did you have any structured education at all?
Not until I was 19. I took my first piano lesson.
Wow, okay. So you just played by ear.
Yeah.
But you had that desire
But
to
I had
boogie
these
woogie.
friends, like, you know, girls that were my friends, and they knew Heart and Soul, you know, dun, dun, you know, whatever, that song. And they would show that stuff to me, and then, of course, I'd learn it. I thought it was cool.
Very good.
But I didn't know nothing about music, really.
Okay, well, we're in the same boat, you know, more or less. Very cool. So what instrument did you take up first?
Drums.
Drums.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was probably 15. I think I
15.
was 15, yeah.
Okay, did you have a whole set or just
No,
the
I
trap?
started off with a snare and a cymbal. And, man, I just drove my mom crazy with that. And I had a stereo, so I played along on the stereo to,
No
you know, the
kidding.
Rolling Stones or whatever.
Just by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you nothing in the school or anything like this.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
It was just something a friend of mine in St. Pete had one, and I said, I want the exact same thing, snare and
Wow.
a cymbal.
Wow. Okay.
And man, like I said, my mom after a while was like, okay, you only got 1 hour. You can do this every day. Because I'd come home from school and I'd start
She
doing
says,
it.
I'm going to go out back and drink
Yeah.
while you do that.
Just drove her crazy.
Wow. Okay. So how long did you stay on that? Because you know that's kind of limited.
About
without-
a year, you know, and I was still a little perturbed with my father.
Oh yeah.
And
Where-
so I told him, I said, you know, I really need a whole drum set. Yeah.
now
So
you're
I was
old enough.
working him.
Yeah, you're old enough that Tallahassee wasn't huge when you moved
Oh, it
to
was
Tallahassee.
real small.
Yeah.
About 25,000, I think.
Yeah, because when I used to come here to see my parents. I had two aunts taught at Florida State. Well, one at Florida State, one Department of Education, as a matter of fact. And so my parents moved here to be close to her sisters. And when I came here, Thomasville was a 2-lane road all the way to Thomasville.
Oh, yeah.
And they were off Valdedary, which was a dirt road.
Yeah, I remember that
So,
road.
so things have changed a lot, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And Lake Ella was a place people went on the weekend. I guess if you go far enough back,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah. It's a totally different place.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked it once I, you know, met some girls and things started happening for me. It took about a year or so.
Was it a small town when you came?
Oh, super
25,000.
small.
I
Yeah, it was
mean,
about 25,000.
and everything was happening downtown.
Well,
around-
yeah, that's where you went shopping. If you wanted to go Christmas shopping, you went downtown.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there was no malls or nothing. Yeah. And
Wow.
you'd see all your friends
Oh
downtown.
yeah. Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
Went to Leon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my Susan, she's a Leon graduate,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and
Yeah.
I've been to a couple fundraisers where there'd be like 5 generations of Leon High School.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. So you got out of drums and you got into what?
Well, I started playing in a band with Charlie Roberts in town, and this was before he called it Eli. Eli was his dad's name, but
Oh.
you've heard of Eli, the band.
Yeah,
Eli.
yeah, I have. Yeah. It was a
So back
well-known
then,
name.
he just found out about me through this guy named Tim Turnbull, who was a guitar player. He just happened to live right down here on Gardenia, not far. He heard
Okay.
me banging on the drums one day and came over
Snaring
and
the
introduced
cymbal.
himself. And he was a year older than me, and he said, "Listen, I play in a band. Would you like to come by and play?" And I said, "Sure." And I got in the band with Charlie Roberts, and we actually played jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
Was
Now,
that
how
the-
big was your set by then?
I had a cheap set. It wasn't nothing, no Ludwig or anything like that. I don't know what it was. It was one I just found in the store window. But you know, it probably cost a couple $100. I don't remember, but it was good enough for me. But I got in the band and we started playing.
A couple
and,
$100 was a lot of money when
yeah.
we were that
Oh, yeah.
age. You know, frankly,
And
that'd be
so-
like you know maybe close to $1,000 today.
I
you know,
just thought it was
200.
cool to be in a band. I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And they liked my singing. I always could sing, so
Yeah.
I started singing for them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And so you were still playing drums. When did you
Right.
graduate to another different instrument?
Well, once I started taking breaks at practice, I would go over to Tim and I'd say, you know, let me see that guitar, and I would hold the guitar, and then I'd say, show me a chord and this and that.
Mhm.
And somewhere along the line, somebody gave me a guitar. I never figured out what happened there. It might have been my friend Bruce Flynn, who lived right over that way. so weird. You're right in my neighborhood. And he just let me borrow the guitar, and it was a nylon string. And I just got obsessed with that all of a sudden because I wanted to be a songwriter. I've always admired songwriting. I think that's just such a cool
That's
thing.
such a gift.
Yes.
I mean, it is.
If you can put the music and the lyrics and come up with something that touches people, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
To change someone's life or at least take them away for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Make them laugh, whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of reason I got into music a little bit
Yeah.
was to one, I enjoy music.
Right.
I mean, I could just sit and play guitar by myself,
Right.
but to grab an audience and take them someplace for a few minutes, that's special.
Yeah. It's so cool when you really get involved in music like we all have done. I always said, man, the song just sings itself. If it's a really good written song,
Yeah.
it's effortless almost to do it.
That is so true because
Yeah.
there's stuff like's written by I'm thinking Neil Diamond or
Oh,
people
yeah.
like that where it's hard to sing some of their songs
Right.
because it's written for them,
Right.
not for anybody else. But then there are certain songs that people write that
Right.
everybody walks down the street singing them.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what I've always thought was cool about songwriting. You don't, this has already been done. All you got to do is respect it and sing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Try to do it justice. you
Yeah,
know?
justice. That's the word I always use. I like that word.
You know, guys. You know, guys will say, let's do this song or let's do that song. And
Yeah.
I said, no. I said because we can't do it right.
Yeah.
We can't do it justice. So
Yeah.
if you can't do it justice, then don't do it.
I
Leave it
remember-
for somebody else.
Yeah, I remember when I was over in Destin and all that, started playing with the musicians over there. Had this one guy, he said, well, they butchered that one.
Oh.
Justice went out the window.
Yeah, so did you get your own piano eventually, or own guitar?
Yes.
No, we're still.
Well,
at
I
guitar.
played guitar pretty intense, man. And even John started letting me play along with him.
Okay, now I got to back up for a second. Now, let's hear the two stories about how you guys met. John, how did you meet this guy?
Well, I think it was you started playing with Tom Hutchison,
Right.
and Tom Hutchison was a Frantic member of the Frantics.
And you're playing guitar now.
No, I'm the drummer.
He
I'm
was
still
the
a
drummer.
but
drummer.
The guitar I was doing on the side.
Wow.
And that's when Tom kind of switched off to bass, I guess.
Right.
He was bass playing for us, and that became his major instrument there. And so he got us together, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And
He said, hey, come on over. I've got a band. And I was like, okay. So I came over, and there you
Right.
guys were.
right, Dave Wallace was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So we jammed, and suddenly we had the Younger Generation 2 band
Right.
that we pulled together, and we played at the high school events.
Yeah.
We had a little trouble because you were on the football team,
Run a little
and the
late.
coach knew
wow,
it.
Mr. Athlete.
And so
Okay.
Run a little late for the gig.
Yeah, so the coach would do a speech after the game,
Yeah.
and sometimes he kept Rick there deliberately, we think.
Yeah.
He wants you to become one of those long-haired hippie freaks.
Yeah,
Right.
believe it or not, there was an incident one time where we were at that after the game talk where everybody gets their rating or whatever. And he did say that to right in front of the whole team. He goes, don't worry, Christian. I'm going to wind it up so you can go to your music thing. That was Coach Cox.
Yeah.
If you knew Coach Cox, he was not the friendliest guy.
Well, he just wanted to let everybody know what he thought about their performance that on the
Right.
field.
Oh, yeah.
How
You
impressed
can't
he
miss
was.
that. You can't miss that.
Yeah, you had to be full-time football player.
you
So
can't
so
miss
so you guys know each other by this time. You're still playing drums though.
Right. I was playing drums for the younger generation, and Tom Hutchison, whose dad's a doctor, had some really nice drums. So he wouldn't even let me bring my drums after the first time. He said, play his drums. So I did, because they were Ludwig.
Well, I want to flip over here for a second because I think we got a shot real quick here. Is this the younger generation?
This is
yeah.
kind of like a get-together of a few bands. There's about 3 bands there, I think, something
Yeah.
like that. And it was a show, and they called it Rascal Yard.
Rascal Yard, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we had a little bit of a soul band there. We had a bluegrass band there, and then we had a rock band. And we were kind of like a folk band almost, a kind of a
Yeah, folk rock.
Crosby, Stills, kind of. Back in the early 70s,
Yeah, that was
the
my
acoustic
heart.
was what was going on.
Yeah,
Everybody
CSNY,
unplugged
yeah.
after that,
Yeah.
And so
Okay. Well, we don't have a picture here of you playing drums, unfortunately.
maybe it's too far back.
Yeah.
And it's fond memories.
I never got that far on drums, In fact, I never got that far on guitar, The only thing that saved me was, vocals.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at some pictures we got of you, and I think this is where you met this guy over here. This is some of the first stuff you guys did together.
Right. So what this is all about is after we were all going into college, and pretty much we were doing the acoustic thing because the Crosby, Stills and Nash was taking over type thing, and Hutch, I think, was kind of instigating this a little bit, that us three should write songs and
Right.
things like that,
Mhm.
And
We had-
No,
we
who's
wrote
Hutch?
a lot of songs.
Yeah, we were writing songs back in high school.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who's Hutch?
Hutch is Tom Hutchison. He's a bass player around town. He's just an all around good musician. He plays a
Yeah.
little piano. He's really knowledgeable about music. He could kind of help the band a lot.
Yeah.
He sang pretty good too.
He
Well-
wrote a few songs too.
Yeah, he was good.
Well, you went from drums and you're playing guitar on the side. Did you ever play guitar in a group, or is that always just been
No.
for pleasure?
No. It was just always like in the living room with some players or something
Yeah.
like that. No, I
Yeah.
never did it in a group.
Okay. How'd you move to piano?
Well, I found the practice rooms at FSU. Somebody showed me those practice rooms.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was Tom Hutch, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He got us
And-
down there.
I was like, oh my God, there's a piano anytime I want a piano. So that did it.
And the doors are open.
Yes.
I kind of heard
Yeah.
this story from John
Yeah.
before, but
Right.
that
You-
just blows my mind.
Yeah.
You could
Did it.
just go in there, and we even went in the auditorium. You had a xylophone and kettle drums and anything you wanted. So when we would carry the big recorder down there, and we do overdubbing, and we'd be able to get all kind of instruments put on the song.
Yeah.
Wow, unbelievable.
That was a really cool thing. And I just got religiously about it too. I would practice every night after work. I worked, and then I would go up there and I'd practice 3 or 4 hours. But I was just, anything that sounded pretty, I would just kind of memorize it or something. But then I also did learn my chords. I started asking him, hey, what are those notes on the guitar? And we'd find them on the piano. And after a while, I knew the basics, A, C, D, E,
Yeah.
all that. So then I realized I got to do the sharps. So I took on the 88s, basically, is what I did.
Oh.
But there was a lot of times when I would go to practice, I'd open the door and somebody would be in there.
Mhm.
And I could, for a second there, I'd go, oh, I'm sorry, and I'd watch their finger work, because I was always real curious about finger work, because I never had lessons, really.
Yeah.
But at 19, I did get a lesson, and I did it for 1 semester. And the teacher was like, I've heard you doodle when we come in.
Mhm.
You kind of got a gift for this, but you play the same thing over and over. And she was a great teacher.
Till you get it right.
She was a great teacher. And she said, this is just not your thing, reading music. You just aren't catching on real good.
Right.
But I'd like you to come to my theory class. Try that. And I said, okay. And even her, after the class, we would have class, I would always stick around. And I would say, hey, whatever, I can't remember her name now. I'd say, would you play a little bit for me? I've heard you play before. I like this one you do about the river or something. It was like going
Mhm.
down the river or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a classical piece kind of. And she would play for me, and I'd watch her play. And then one day she goes, you remind me of somebody. And I was like, okay, who's that? She said, somebody I taught. And I said, okay, this is in Gainesville. She said, Stephen Stills.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gainesville. Right.
And I
yeah.
was like, you taught Stephen Stills. Now, right then, Crosby, Stills, and Nash were
Oh, yeah.
happening. And there was another guy in there that was a bass player. He was kind of a rocker like me, too. So he got his attention, too. We were like, oh, really? So after that, we
Wow.
were kind of listening to this lady, that And she kind of let me know. She was like,
got your
"You're
respect."
not quite as gifted as him, but you remind me of him."
Yeah, but she got your respect right there as soon as she
Right.
threw that name out, because you're in
Exactly.
Gainesville. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was Tom Petty, and
Oh, yeah.
I remember Don Felder working in a music store in Gainesville, and he said Petty was one of his students, and he had a band there with Stephen Stills.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're like really in
I
some
was right in
serious
that time,
talent.
Yeah, a little late because it was in the '70s. And
Oh, yeah,
Steve
yeah.
already is in
These
California.
guys were touring the football
yeah,
stadium.
Probably '66. He moved to California. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, still very cool though. I mean,
Yeah, it was
it's
neat. It
a
was so
soup
kinda-
place, you
it
know.
was kind of hard to believe when she told me that. I was like, "Come on." She goes, "No."
Wow.
He plays piano. Stephen Stills does play piano.
Did you ever learn to read, or you like some
no,
of
just
us?
a little bit, and then
Yeah.
finally it just wasn't. I just I got my left hand smacked all the time because that's the bottom line.
Oh, yeah,
I was doing good with the top line. I never could get that bottom
Well,
line.
Here's something that I read or somebody told me once, and they said if you don't start playing piano by the age of 12, and I don't know how accurate this is, but they said your brain is there's no barrier between the two sides until you're about 12.
Huh.
And so if you learn to play piano before 12, the left hand can operate independently of the right hand. But if you
Wow.
learn to play piano after the age of 12, everybody that does, you watch them, they all chord with their left hand, and they do the
Right.
arpeggio type stuff with
Right.
their right hand.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
That's what
So
I do.
it's nothing unique there at
Right.
all.
That's what I do.
So you're in Gainesville.
Yeah.
How'd you're playing piano? You in a band there or anything?
I'd go back and forth to Tallahassee to play with the Gorilla Milk, we were called, our little three-piece.
You guys go way back. I'm just
Oh,
floored
yeah.
when you
This
sit there
is
telling me
this
about
is
your-
71, probably, right?
Yes,
70,
about
70.
Yeah, you guys
71.
are growing in music together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, John, I remember the first time he showed me this song he wrote. I think it was called Early Morning Fog or something like that.
Mhm.
I was just like, wait a minute. You really wrote that? I was very impressed. And he's like, yes, I wrote it. And that did it. I mean, I was in a battle with him.
Yeah, it was kind of like a competition, kind of. I think we sort
You
of,
can do it, I can do it.
we went back and forth, and you'd show up with a song, and then I'd show up with a song, and we
It
were.
was like,
But then a lot of times we'd write it together, where you'd been working on this part, and I'd been working on this part, and we say, well, they might work together, and then we sort of stick
we
them
just
together.
force them together. Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked out.
Well, there's nothing like having a co-writer.
Oh, no,
I
man,
mean,
that's-
because you're stuck on a verse or something. They look at it and go, "I don't like that word." And one word changing
Oh, yeah.
can change everything.
Yeah.
And make it flow.
Make
So
it
it's huge.
sound like it's a little more real.
Yeah. Start making bucks and
Yeah.
enjoying life.
And my brother, he got his bachelor's degree in coaching, which is what my dad was pushing, and he only did it for a couple of years. He says, "Man, that's just too many hours,"
Yeah, it's a life. It's a way of life. It's not a
Yeah.
it's not a job.
So he moved to California to try to be an actor, whatever.
Yeah.
It is kind of tough if you don't really know what you want to be.
I read a thing on the bathroom wall, I guess, when I was in college, and it always stuck with me. It says, "Life is for living, not preparing to live."
It's a good one.
You know?
Yeah.
And I always thought there's something in that.
That's that old John Lennon saying, "Life is what happens to you when you're making plans with your life."
Yeah. I guess I was always too afraid not, because I've been drummed my whole life.
Right.
You got to go do this, you got to do this. So I did it,
Yeah.
and it turned out all right because it gave me actually. I gotta say, I'm one of the few people I ever met in life that actually I do what I got a degree in.
Right. Yeah.
Which is unusual because they say like 85% of all people that get a college degree never get a job in their field of study.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So
Yeah, and you usually change occupations about 7 times. Most people
yeah, trying to figure it
during
out.
their lifetime
Yeah,
they'll change
yeah.
different jobs.
Trying to figure it out. But I wish to God that I had enough foresight to just say I'm going to do music.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot because there's always time to go back.
Right.
But you're only young once, right? I think.
I never
When I
thought
get-
I would get so obsessed with the 88s. It just
Yeah.
drives you nuts.
When you're playing 4 or
It's
5
really
hours.
only 12 notes,
Yeah.
but there's octaves involved, You would think, how can they get so much music out of that 1 octave.
It's emotions.
Yeah.
It's all emotions. I'm fooling around in my study with a keyboard right now, and I'm running through a Mac computer, GarageBand, through MIDI channels, and I'm learning all this stuff, right? Because I want a pan flute to do the beginning of a Clapton version of After Midnight, and it starts with a pan flute.
Oh, okay.
But when you hit that low C, and actually if you bridge the low C to the next highest C, whoa, when you hit that, then you hit the high register, it's emotions.
Yeah.
You know?
That's really why I kind of sold my guitar. I think I sold my guitar when I was about 40. I just wasn't playing it much anymore, and the reason why is because the synthesizer came out and had all kinds of sounds. It had guitar sounds. It had everything, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, well, shoot, I don't need to accomplish all this thing. I need to just stick on the 88s and then push the button that I like.
Well,
for the
focus.
sound.
Yeah, focus on
Yeah,
doing what you do the
right.
best. Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit about these pictures over here, because I want to find out, who these guys are and what was going on in your life.
I hope I can remember them all.
Well, you got a good memory ship over here.
Well, that was definitely Gorilla Milk. We were playing at the Student Union, and we had a concert type setup, and we did that fairly often. We played almost every weekend on different places
Like little
around
coffee
Tallahassee,
shops.
coffee
and
shops.
Well, who's who in this picture, John?
Well, that's me with the guitar. And
You look like a Beach Boy out of California.
yeah, that's,
long-haired surfer.
well, I was doing surfing them days, but Tom Hutchison, who played bass, I've been playing with Tom since junior high school, maybe 8th grade or something like
Is that right?
Yeah, we'd been in different,
Well,
bands.
how old were you when you guys met?
We were in high school.
I was probably 16,
Yeah.
16. Okay. Okay. All right.
just driving.
So that's
And-
Tom Hudson and
Right.
that's
With the
Rick
long
on-
hair.
And Rick on the keyboard there, but he also had his conga drum because he'd switch back and forth.
Right.
And sometimes you did have that guitar there, and we'd have 2 guitars going.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I've got some good
I
recordings.
didn't think
of
you
us, too.
allowed me to do that.
Well, only a few exceptions, I guess.
Well, I've heard you
Yeah.
play piano, so I can tell you that your practice paid off, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
John sent this over, and I guess this was a write-up in the newspaper.
Right. It was. We were playing at TCC, and so they did a write-up on us after we did our concert. I think it was after we did the concert. But it was one of the places we got hired to play at, and so we were kind of recognized because all we did was original songs
Right.
in this band. We didn't do any covers or anything, and so we were kind of noted for that. And I guess we did okay for doing original music and being just a local Tallahassee band.
Well, who wrote all the music?
We both did.
Kind of
Did
back
you?
and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. So you actually got into the writing of the songs and
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
And Tom Hutch was good at it too. He
Yeah.
was good. He would say, change this or change that. Or
Yeah.
he's a good story because he's left-handed, but he plays the bass, but he never changed the strings.
Yeah.
He just picked it up one day and decided, okay, I'll be the bass player, and he figured it out real quick.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing with guitar. He plays the guitar upside down.
He just flips it around and
Yeah,
leaves the
he-
strings away. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
And so when we
You
play,
can't follow him to save your
yeah,
life.
you'd be looking. What is he playing? An E or a C or what's he playing there? Eventually, you get to where you see what he's doing. And,
Yeah, there's that Bramble the Third. I can't remember his first name. He plays with Eric Clapton a lot. Backs him up and he flips
I've
it.
seen
And,
that.
and you watch him bend the strings, but he bends the strings down.
He's really good too, and for Eric to let somebody that plays like that is quite a compliment.
Oh
But
yeah,
I've seen that guy.
yeah.
I was
It's
like,
weird.
okay, you don't see too many people play the guitar upside down. It's kind of rare.
Now, this must be where you guys were actually doing some composing.
Probably
Composition?
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
probably so.
working on some piece of music, and this was Tom's place. We always hung out there, I guess, and we would write the songs. And if Rick was doing a keyboard part, sometimes we'd go down and record the keyboard first, and guitar down in the music room because we didn't have a piano there. and then we'd bring the recorder back and then add things to it.
You guys trusted your meter, obviously. You weren't.
Yeah,
That's a good question. I've often wondered about that too. But we did pretty good.
We did pretty good at it. We even with no percussion going at us, you know.
Now, what's this all about? This is you laying down the percussion afterwards.
Yeah, I bought those congos out of Atlanta, you know, probably in about our second year of being this acoustic band, and I used to beat on the back of a guitar. Everybody says, you know, you need to get some congas. That's what I did, and it turned out to come in real handy.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love congas.
Yeah, sound great.
I'm searching for a conga player right now. I auditioned 3 and calling another one back.
Yeah.
You know.
I still know the technique to it, you know. I mean, I've watched so many congos players when I first got those. Like the Blues Image had a conga
Yeah,
player.
you feel the skin.
I never could quite do the, you know. I could,
Oh yeah, well yeah. But you must feel the skin, you know, from the
Yeah,
edge to the center. You know
yeah,
where it's got to be
you
and
know,
how
on
you
the edge,
muffle
you
it.
can pop it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing to do. And I don't know if you ever saw the Blues Image, but I always thought that band was so cool because
Who
the
are
guy
they?
could sing too. He played the congas and sang, and he had sunglasses on, and it was just cool looking.
You got to give it to conga
That's
players. They do look pretty.
Ride
cool.
Captain Ride for the Blues Image.
Let's take a look at this one again. Is this practice or is this composition?
That's
time?
when we let
Is
a
this-
girl in the band.
Yeah, we were doing a show, and we were at the Down Under at the FSU is what it was called. And,
Yeah.
we had added Tina McKee,
Oh.
who's Tina Snover now, and she came in and added a lot to our vocal work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think of women that are in bands at that time. You know, who were they? Were there Janis Joplin, the Linda Ronstadt, Grace Slick? There's some pretty powerful
Oh, yeah.
vocalists, and, you know,
Yeah.
doing the rock scene.
And she
Oh,
got
yeah.
into doing our original songs too,
Yeah.
which was kind of nice.
She has a very nice voice, really good pitch. Yeah. She
Yeah.
was pretty good.
That's somebody's got the ear and can hit, you know, on pitch. That's
Mhm.
huge. That's huge. And so somebody told me a little lesson a while back, several years ago, because you know every now and then you hear yourself I'm flat. How do you do
Yeah.
that? And they said raise the roof of your mouth. And I thought, what in the
how you
heck
do
is
that?
that? And he said, well, just curl your tongue up towards the roof of your mouth, and you'll hear your voice go up to pitch.
Wow.
I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
I might have to try that at 70.
Yeah, you just curl your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, and you'll hear yourself go on pitch.
That's
I mean,
pretty
it's
cool.
unbelievable,
Never heard
actually.
that one.
So we talked about these guys earlier. This is I thought this was a band, but you're telling me this was a menagerie.
It was a jam.
Yeah,
really.
it was sort of coordinated for all of us to do that
Yeah.
together.
And again, that's the surfer up there on the
Yeah.
blonde-headed guy on the
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
Can you name all these people?
Yeah, it's David Schuessler. It's the singer right there on the front right. And then Ronnie Geis, you can see him behind David. Then you got you got Donnie Fields on the drums back there and Richard Beavis. So we had 2 drummers. Then, of course, Tom with the long hair playing bass. I'm on the congos. That's John playing some guitar. And a good friend of mine, Billy Graham, was playing the keyboards. And he became my roommate, too. And he was really a great guy. He taught me a lot about piano. He is a really good piano player.
Okay, I thought you were going to tell me he later became a preacher.
No. Wrong Bill. I mean, wrong Graham.
Wrong Billy Graham. Okay, let's take a look and see what's going on. This is Florida State, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, I went and got me a grand, didn't I? Look at there.
Hey guys, grand at the FSU auditorium.
I like having a
Excellent.
$10,000 piano to play.
You know that's always been my goal in life is to have a black ebony piano
Yeah.
in the living room.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if I can even play it. I just like to listen to it when you hit the note. It just rings out, you know.
Yeah, I used to go sneak into the concert hall, and they had those big Steinways. I bet those things were 10 feet long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
I don't know.
nobody was in there, so I'd just walk up on this stage and start
Oh,
playing.
Unbelievable.
Can you,
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead. And,
sorry about that. I should have turned this off. We might have to regroup here.
oh no. You know, I watch Jay Leno do this all the time on his show, so don't worry about it. You know,
Sorry.
he usually answers the phone while he's doing a podcast and says, "I'm doing a podcast. I'll call you right back." You know. So what's going on here? This actually is a pretty cool setting, to tell you
Yeah.
the truth.
You know, I don't recall that a whole lot, but I know the girl in there, we had just met and started playing music together. And this is probably 76, I would think, something like that.
Were you
And,
involved in this?
I was
John?
going back
No,
into
I took the picture.
yeah.
Oh.
I was
It was,
going back into rock and roll, and I guess I had me a piano. Yeah, I got a piano at 1975.
Oh, okay.
Got me
Yeah,
a
this was a wedding of a friend of ours, I think, out in the countryside,
Oh,
Gaston County.
you got a PA system, it looks like.
Yeah, that came from my brother. He was always supporting bands and everything, and one of his bands just defunct. And my dad, he owed Dad some money, and my dad said, "Give Rick those speakers or something."
Oh, is that right? Yeah, because that was always
It was
just giving a
always-
PA.
oh, yeah.
I mean,
That
that's
was-
always been a problem for every
Oh,
band.
yeah, those
hasn't
things
it?
were not cheap. Yeah.
Who's this young lady?
That's Mary Resner. Actually, it's tied to Trent Reznor. I don't know if you've ever heard of Trent
No.
Reznor, 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Trent
And
Reznor.
she's
That's
his
it.
aunt.
That's her nephew.
Oh, wow.
So they got a musical family. Her brother Skip is a really good piano player.
And
Her
we have
dad
some-
plays organ.
We have some recordings with Skip with us.
Yeah, he was excellent. And so we were together for about 6 years, and we did a lot of bands.
Wow.
We had a lot of bands.
Really? Okay.
She was excellent lyricist. She was the kind of person that I've watched her. I'd be dueling on the piano in the house, and she'd sit down for about 20 minutes and then just walk up to the piano and lay this piece of paper down. It was a complete song.
So you guys are kind of like Stevie Nicks and Lindsey
Kind
Buckingham.
of like that, you know. Nothing like somebody handing you some words that you can immediately put a song to.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have to tweak much of them at all sometimes. I was like, so you just wrote that, huh?
Wow, poetry. You
Yeah.
know, poetry. I guess
It's a
at
gift.
the end of the, at
He's
the
got
end,
some.
at the end of the
We
day.
had some pretty good recordings with her too.
Oh, yeah, real good.
And what was her name again?
Mary Resner.
Mary Resner. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. What's going on here?
That's probably one of the best bands I ever put together. We did a recording at Sweet Bay, and Mary and I would played a duo for quite a while up at the Holiday Inns. We were like a duo thing back in '78, I think it was. So we were making really good money. So we decided we were going to do some recordings of some of the original stuff we had put together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew a lot of musicians in town, so I picked the very cream of the crop
Oh, wow.
to help us do. Once I said we're going to Sweet Bay to make a recording, everybody wanted to do that.
Right.
You don't even have to pay them; they want to do it. You know,
Right.
Get in that studio.
Yeah. So,
And I had Sammy Tedder on sax, and that's Pete Winter on bass, and I had James Stanton on guitar, and I was Ron Kwiatkowski on drums. He was a good drummer. He's a school drummer. And then Mary and I taught her how to play congas, and she got pretty good.
oh,
And
wow.
she also did a little string parts. They have a little thing there that made string sounds, and she would play some strings, and Sammy would work with her on that. And
Oh, okay.
it was really a good group effort.
You know, I took lessons from him for a year.
Yeah.
I thought I'd turn myself into a lead guitar player,
Right.
but I guess it's a little bit like your sight reading piano.
Yeah. A little more to it than you thought. huh?
Oh, there's a lot more to it. You know? Buddy of mine, he says, you know, I call him Smoking Mel Kern in Detroit, you know, and he says, well, you try and then you can.
Nice.
And I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, who's this?
Same guy.
This
that's
guy,
me.
man.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to my hair. It got real curly, didn't it? Of course, that's my girlfriend, Mary. She decided we had to have silk on, and she would sew all these things. And
Really?
we were a real rock band, we thought, I guess.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was the time, wasn't it? This
Yeah.
is like
Very 80s.
80s. Yeah, I'm thinking of who are those? The three brothers from Australia, the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And there's my first synthesizer, Crewbar. Had
Oh,
like
wow.
2 sounds.
What were they? Do you remember?
The
What
one of them was sounded like a Moog, mini Moog sound,
Yeah.
a little bit like that. The other one was kind of brassy sounded, I think.
Okay, so you could do some horns behind
It was
you.
kind of like they only played one note at a time, so I could do solos on it. But they were cool, and it had a
Uh-oh.
glide. It also had a glide where you could, things like that.
Look at these guys. I flipped them on pretty quick here, but this is this is like Styx or Bee Gees or all those guys in that time frame.
That's Tommy. What's his? I can't think of his name now. Smith, Tom Smith, who owned the nightclub there called Tommy's. was the
Okay,
name of
which
the
one's he?
nightclub. He's in the middle. He played
Okay.
sax, and he liked our band Mary and I had going, and he said, "Listen, I want you to kind of play it regular here, and I want to be in the band."
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't know he played sax.
Said,
Really,
"Sure."
I played his club before, and so he gets up there and plays the sax, and he's really, really good. He's very good.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And who are the other guys?
let's see if I can remember. Well, of course, that's Pete again, Pete Winter. Gosh, I can't think of that guitar player, but he was around town for a long time. He sang good and played good.
Yeah. He
I can't think of his name right
looks a
now.
little bit like a rock star, doesn't he? I mean, at the end of the day.
He was good. That was a good band. I think that was called Sweet Connection, and I believe that was before Freezing Hot. I think it was. Right
Oh,
before
okay. We're a little
Freezing
out
Hot.
of sequence here, but that's okay. So let's take a look at who are these now. Things have changed here,
Right.
where the silk shirts are gone.
Yeah. Freezing Hot, who later became the Key.
Are you in the
Changed
middle
our
in the
name.
back?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we had kind of just were a little too much original and too little jazzy, and we're having a hard time finding work in Tallahassee,
Yeah.
And so everybody just kind of lost interest, I guess. I don't know what happened.
Well,
But
t-
this
Tal-
is the band after that.
Well, Tallahassee, from my experience, is basically either bluegrass or blues.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be
Country
what
was pretty
sells.
strong here too.
Was it?
Country was kind of strong.
Okay, but the jazz scene was not big.
Not that much, no. And
Yeah.
I was a little jazzy, but not that much. But we did like 15 original tunes. Freezing
Oh.
Hot did. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Got a
yeah.
nice
You
recordings,
cut,
too.
yes,
Yeah.
I said you cut an EP or whatever it was. I
Yeah.
guess it would have been vinyl.
That's a good
almost.
story. Actually, we did a 45, and my girlfriend, she took the 45 and she went all over town and put it in the back of a jukebox and taped it on the jukebox.
Tape
said-
the name over the glass.
Just on the back was our little 45, and she told the jukebox guy, said, "Listen, if you don't mind, put this on the jukebox."
Oh wow!
And it worked. He liked the song. He went in and played it, and it was all over town.
Oh,
It was
really?
all over town.
Very cool
It was
marketing.
very cool.
Yeah, it's a genius management.
Yeah.
You know?
Just tape our little record to the back of the jukebox.
You hear so many stories about the manager taking the 45s, just driving on the road and hitting every little radio station out in the middle of nowhere and say, "Will you play this?" You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
What did they call it back then? Payola? Didn't they get in trouble for that?
Yeah, I think they did. Give you a little money to play this record.
So who are these guys? We didn't name them.
Okay, now that's a different band, but I was still using the name The Key. So this is called The Key, this band,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a song Mary and I wrote called The Key, which is a really good song. And so it just kind of fit a band, The Key. I liked it. And so that's Curtis Heitman. That's Mark Ellerby, who played with Oak Ridge Boys. out of
Which one?
Nashville.
Which
He's
one?
the guy in the middle.
Guy in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, he played with the Oak Ridge Boys. Really good drummer. And then Hal Newman on the far left is a bass player, and he, I think he had his degree in music.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Played the fiddle also. So we were a pretty good little band, and we got a lot of work, and we worked for years, really.
Having a school musician in your group is a
It's
good thing.
helpful.
It does on one level. On the other level, I think the natural ear knows that the song, the progression has to resolve itself back to
Right.
the root key.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it sounds weird.
It's
And
so
that's when you know-
strange that some people don't really pick up on that. They
Yeah.
were very good musicians. They didn't know we went 4 bars.
But you know, you gotta,
makes
you-
me go, whoa.
you know, you got a school musician when they throw a sixth or something in there, and it sounds okay.
Yeah. I always like the color of the chords sometimes.
But that's how you know when you got a real trained musician. Now, I think we're jumping ahead a little bit in history here because the color of your hair has changed.
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
like I
you've
put on a
highlighted
little
it.
weight too.
You put some highlights in your hair.
Yeah, this was in Fort Walton.
I still had some color. It was going white on me, but there was a little dark in there still.
So you moved from Tallahassee to Fort Lawton.
Right.
Okay.
And I did that for music too, believe it or not. I already knew that the carpet cleaning would do well because
Yeah.
there's like 4 little towns over there. And if you put it all together, it's about 350,000 people. So I said, well, I'm just going to have to drive 5 miles this way, 8 miles out, And I went over there to expand my company, but also I grew up in St. Pete. I missed the water.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get back on the water. And it's a beautiful place over there.
Yeah.
Destin and Fort Walton, all that's really beautiful.
Um,
But the music's strong.
is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
I was
Well,
impressed.
I got to back up just for a second because the people who are not familiar with you may not know that you actually have as the British say, you have a proper job,
yeah.
which was your own business.
Yes.
It was a carpet cleaning
Right.
business, and you were pretty successful at it. You had several trucks running with
Right.
crews and stuff. So
Right.
Yeah, Florida Steam.
Florida Steam, okay, yeah, very very cool. So I wanted to let everybody know that, so they always wonder what in the world are you guys talking.
That was the greatest decision I ever made, really, because it freed me up to do music, and I could pay my bills too.
Yeah,
Because I was my own boss. I said, well, we're knocking off at 4. So
yeah.
I got to go do a gig.
Or you guys go clean that
Yeah,
job because
I
I
had
got to
that
go.
happen too. They didn't like that much.
Well, that's the life. It's good to be king.
Yeah.
You know? So you're very fortunate about that. And this was shot in Fort Walton. Look, it almost. Were you near the beach? I get the sense
Yeah,
of
we always played on the beach.
That's the sense I get from looking at this picture is that it was so near the water.
kinda
for some
hot,
reason.
doesn't
Yeah, a little- it was hot that day.
And here's another. Is this shot also in Fort Walton?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're playing keys on this.
Right.
Are these musicians over from that area?
Right. The far left over there, his name is Sticks. And I was playing with the Brand Brothers in Tallahassee, but I had moved. But I was also running my company in Tallahassee still. So I was going back and forth dealing with the carpet workers over here and starting one over there. And I was a busy guy.
Mhm.
But I decided one night to go to a open mic jam or something like that.
Yeah.
And I met Sticks.
Oh.
And I got up there and played. Everybody took a turn playing. There was a keyboard up there, and so he liked the way I played, and he asked me if I would come out and hear his band and possibly join up. And I realized that going back and forth with the Brand Brothers was kind of fizzling out for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to retire from the Brand Brothers and join a band over there.
It takes the edge off your energy.
Yeah.
You got to travel back and
Yeah,
forth,
'cause-
practice.
Yeah, I was traveling with the company enough, and then with a band too. I was just going back and forth all the time.
Yeah. I can see how it'd definitely burn you out after
Yeah.
a while. Is this the same group of people? Or is this
Yeah.
the front on shot?
Yeah, it's a front shot, same people.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sticks was a pretty good singer too.
Oh,
He had
he-
some pretty good vocals going.
He's a great singer, actually. He could sing Marvin Gaye like you'd swear it's Marvin Gaye, and that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good.
Did Marvin show up?
Yeah, sure sounded like it. He impressed me, I swear.
Who's on drums here?
That's Case Cooper, very good drummer, old local boy who knew everybody. Usually got a lot of jobs for us because him and his brother had good bands in the area in the past. And then that's Kenny on guitar, very accomplished, strange man. But he could sing too.
Well,
He-
let's
so,
face it. Most
he
people
was a
in
singer.
music, we're all kind of we got
Yeah.
our own quirks.
He was a little quirky.
Now, how long were you in Fort Walton?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's not overnight. I
No,
mean,
no.
Jeez.
It was kind of hard to leave after a while.
Yeah, that's a whole section of your life was spent over
Yeah.
there. Again, the same group, or it looks like you got some
Yeah.
added musicians.
Yeah,
We had another guy playing there, and I'm not sure who
I think
that
he
is.
joined up with y'all for about 2 or 3 songs. Just
Yeah,
kind of gave them
he was
stage.
just probably one of those guitar players that was good around town and got up there and played a little bit with us.
Oh, okay.
We used to change guitar players quite a bit. We stayed a three-piece most of the time.
Yeah, but every now and then a cat will show up that
But,
you
yeah.
trust. You can say,
Well,
come on
sometimes
up,
on
you
an
know.
outdoor show, Styx would have extra money to pay a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
So
Very
we had
cool.
about 2 or 3 we would use.
Is this the same shot from same? It's a different gig, different drummer.
Yeah, that's Easy Street Blues Band.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that must be Dan Engel then on
Yeah,
bass.
it is.
I
It
played
is.
with Dan a few
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
That's him.
Who's on drums on this?
That's your friend
Dale Robbins.
Dale.
Is that Dale?
Yeah.
Gosh, his look keeps changing. Long hair, short hair, long hair, short hair.
Yeah.
That's you on keyboards.
Yeah.
Okay, and then again, this is a shot of the Easy Street Blues
Right.
Band,
Right.
and I played with Dan. First gig I did under the name of Keith Taylor Band. Dan was our bass player on that,
Oh, okay.
and I've jammed with Ben Banks there, and I've played with Dale Robinson a few times, and of course that's John there, and that's you.
Yeah, he photoshopped me in, I think.
I wasn't going to say that. I was not going to say that.
I gave you your full height on that one. Short deal on another one.
All right, we're going to take a little break right now, and we're going to come back after this break, and we're going to look at the music that you're doing today. All right, we're back in studio, and today we're here with my co-founder and co-host John Owen, and in studio today our guest is Rick Christian, and we're picking up where we left off. We did the whole history, you know, how you got into music, where you were born, how you grew up, who influenced you, and now we're talking about today.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother animal because, as we know, we progress through life, and with any luck, we get better at what we do. So we're going to start off here with a shot of something that's going on today. And who is? And I love this picture. This picture to me, it was posed. And John told me he just did some photo work on this thing and cut the audience out. And I'm like, looks pretty cool to me.
Did some vignette around them to kind of darken out everything.
Yeah, can you tell us who's in this shot?
So this has got to be a Deep Pocket Band, and I had just moved back to Tallahassee, and Terry, the far right guitar player, of course, me and him, and I know both of his brothers, went to high school with him, played with music with his older brother, both of his older brothers. So he was calling me saying, "Hey, I hear you're moving back to Tallahassee," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Well, I got some guys you need to meet and play with them," and that was what this is all about.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really know Stan, the bass player. I did know Steve through, being an old Tallahassee guy. 'cause
Which one's
goes
Steve?
way back. He's the drummer.
Oh, okay.
And then the far right with the big beard, his name is Bill Pandolfi. And I really did not know him, but
I've
he's
heard the
an
name.
excellent guitar player.
Oh yeah, very
And he
good.
can sing too.
Is that right?
Man, he can play that guitar. Yeah. So I just came in and we were jamming, I guess, at the Deep Pocket. I mean,
Deep
at the
Pocket.
No, Deep Pocket at Corner Pocket.
Corner box.
Deep
Yeah.
pocket, corner pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta like that.
That's
Deep
kinda
pocket,
weird.
corner pocket.
Right. It does get confusing.
Oh, this is a shot of you. I guess during the performance, you're singing.
I guess so. I don't know where that one comes from,
Yes.
but I guess it's over here. Yeah.
Well, I think it looks like probably the same night this
yeah,
was shot.
probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Now, is this a regular keyboard, or is this a synthesizer? Where
That's
you
a
get-
synthesizer.
Oh, okay.
there. But it
Okay.
has everything. It has piano. It has whatever you want. That's a Motif Yamaha.
A lot of guys will have it seems to me, and today they'll have a synthesizer, and then they'll have a regular, nothing but dedicated piano below.
Right.
You know, it's electronic keyboard, but it's
Right.
dedicated weighted keys. Is that the way you like to go?
Mine are, kind of weighted, but not real heavy weighted, but they are weighted keys, yes.
Yeah.
And I usually on my bottom is always either, a Rhodes sound or a classical piano sound on my bottom, but it has tons of sounds too.
Yeah.
All keyboards nowadays, they're a synthesizer basically. They
Yeah.
got all kinds of sounds.
Yeah.
and
And what's
effects.
that you've got, John, at your house? It looks like it's just a weighted piano.
Yeah, they're hammer keys, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Weighted hammer keys.
Yeah.
Yamaha keyboard.
Yeah, but does it have extra sounds also?
Well, it
or-
has quite a few sounds in it,
Mhm.
but I get a lot more sounds when you put it in like GarageBand. And
Yeah.
you've got all of these different sounds at the key, including trap sets and
That's 'cause
those kind of things.
It's
Wow.
MIDI. It's MIDI.
I mean, you're going to replace the drummer? I can't.
You can replace with the
I can't
keyboards.
live with
Rick
that.
can replace everybody in the band.
I can't live with that. He's getting rid of the drummer. I like, as they say, I like the drummers who push the air.
Yeah.
When the real drums.
Right.
This is again another shot from the same place. Now, who? Oh, the
Yeah.
drummers. You said the name was Steve.
Steve Howell. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's been playing in this town forever. He used to play with Pat Ramsey Band.
Yeah, I've
He
seen.
played years and years with them.
I've seen his picture around a lot of
Right.
places.
He's a strong drummer.
And what's going on here? Another.
Same deep pocket band. It looks like all the same night almost. I
Yeah.
don't know because there's Bill on the far. He only played with us one time, I
Yeah.
think, alive. That I remember.
I'm like I'm so particular because of what I do for my proper job. I analyze everything, and I see that's the same carpet.
Yeah. All right.
That's the only way I know. What is this?
So now this is when we decided we're going to be night shift, I think. And this is a 4-piece. And that's Stan and Terry. And Bobby's behind Stan. You can't see him.
Yeah, Bobby's always sort of in the background there,
Right.
but he's driving the band pretty good.
I'm going to take a guess. Is this St. George Island?
It
looks like
sure
they-
looks like it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
They got
that
the
is.
curtains down.
Yep.
Yeah, it must
That's
have been
docks.
stormy weather. Okay,
That's
yeah.
docks.
Yeah, I played that very same stage
Yeah.
several times. In fact, I played there during a hurricane.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, and I forgot what hurricane it was, but we were booked to play, and by God, if I got a booking, I'm going to show up,
Yeah.
and because you never know in this area,
Right.
I think it's because of the mag lab, the rain's coming in and goes around Tallahassee,
Yes.
Yeah.
miraculously.
That was a really cool place.
I not to digress here, but this roof was built by the Seminole Nation, and there's like 3 places where they built the roofs. I'm guessing there were 3. I'm
There's
sure there
one
was.
in Panacea. Isn't that one in Panacea?
I
the
think
same?
same people, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's 4 that I know of because there's Panacea. Yeah, it was the old Hook Wreck Henry's, which is now St. Yards.
Right.
It was Mad Anthony's for a
Yeah, right.
while, and then there's the one down at the end of in St. Mark's, Riverside Cafe
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that.
That's right. That's a nice one.
Yeah, and then Doc Myers.
Right.
Again, another shot. This is a back shot of the band from that's you on keyboards.
Right.
You always play with 2 keyboards.
Always, yeah.
Yeah. It gives you a second because we want to take a look at you actually performing, and what we're going to watch now is Rick in action. Switch up over here to a new member of your band or the current band on percussion.
Yeah. That's Bobby Jett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you meet Bobby?
Through Terry, actually. Terry was doing some kind of a special soul thing or something. He says, "Man, Rick, you need to meet this drummer. He's really good." And we jammed one time, and I said, "Yeah, that guy's great." And he can sing harmony really well. And I thought, sure, man. Let's
That's
call
strong.
him our drummer.
That's
So
strong.
he was our drummer.
yeah.
Great backup singer.
And he's also a good singer. He can sing lead too. So
Yeah, that's strong. Anybody can do harmony, especially while you're playing. I think guitar players are exceptional. Piano players are very exceptional, but drummers, all 4 appendages are doing something
Oh,
different.
yeah,
And then you're trying to sing.
yeah,
So says a lot about the guy.
yeah. He's definitely a serious musician. He plays piano quite well and guitar.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Very serious musician.
Well, let's take a look at Bobby.
Ricky, hold on.
And we're back. That was Bobby Jett on the drums. He's pretty solid guy, it looked like. And you found him, you're very fortunate. I mean, anybody can sing and play drums, man. Phew, it's, you know. Now, who's this guy here?
That is Terry Brand from the Brand Boys. Got Glenn Brand and Paul Brand. Paul passed, but excellent musicians.
Great shot of him right here. Did you take this, John?
Yeah, he's they're fun to shoot, these guys. I enjoy it every time I do it with them. And Terry's very expressive when he's singing.
You
Very
should actually put together a book. I'm sure you've thought about this of all your experience in Tallahassee, because these are great shots. You know,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that. And then we're back to the one that we started with right here.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to Terry. So tell us about Terry.
Terry, like I said, comes from a musical family, and I've known him since high school. He was the youngest of the brothers. And back then, you know, I didn't live too far from him, so I would go over and see Glenn, who's my age. And his brother Paul's about 3 years older than me, I think, was. And he was the mastermind of the music as far as the family goes. He was the most skilled and knew chords and things like that, and could sing really well too. So I would go over and see them sometimes, and he would always have his little brother Terry sitting on the couch. He wouldn't let him go nowhere. He's teaching him guitar.
Oh wow, he's lucky
This
as
is
all
back in
get out.
'68.
That's for sure. And then we got the last member of your crew right here, and this is a name that when I first came to Tallahassee, people said if you want something, go down to Gramley's feed store or whatever. And so I would go down there, and I didn't know that the one of the members of the family played music.
Yeah.
And I always heard rumors that his band practiced in the feed store. And
Right. He actually built that room for us. He always likes to do something with music. He has his own CDs, and he's pretty into music. But he played with La Bamba for many a year. I think they were about 15 years into it.
Oh, is that right?
They
Somebody
were
said they
pretty
were
much all original.
Yeah, and pretty well known, well received band.
Yeah, probably one of the better original bands Tallahassee's ever had.
Yeah. What happened to them? Anybody?
Well, he's kind of somewhere right in the late 70s. I don't know. I guess they just burned out on each other, and Sammy Tedder was their sax player. And
Oh,
he ended up coming with us, and
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad about it, but he's so good. I was like, yeah.
yeah, but you said they played 8 years, so that's a pretty good
Yeah,
run
pretty
for
long time,
I
yeah.
mean, here's another great shot of him. This looks like down at Doc Myers.
Yeah.
I'd take a guess. Let's see if we got take a listen here and see what we can find out about this guy. This is Stan Gramley. Excellent. What a guy. Stan Gramley.
Yeah.
Excellent bass player.
Yeah. I knew him from La Bamba, but I really never knew him. I just saw him up on stage. But he goes way back to the Eight of Us high school bands that were doing a lot of soul music.
Yeah.
He played with them, and he told me he was in the choir or whatever. He was in the musical band too.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
I don't know what he played. Trumpet. That's right. He played trumpet.
So he's
Yeah.
definitely into music.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
been into music a long time.
Very cool. And here's the guy who runs the band today. And this is the picture I really like of you, because you just got that look like We'll smile. It's like, I know something you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, really?
Well, Rick, you always look like you're having fun when you're playing, and that to me is real important for the show you're doing.
Yeah.
You're up there to have fun and enjoy the audience and have a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rick, I appreciate you coming by today. And
Thank
it's
you.
been a pleasure kind of getting to know you. Now
Yeah.
I feel like I know something about you. You're not just a name or a picture somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now you're a real person.
Oh, thank
And,
you.
and that's really huge. That's really
Yeah.
huge. And so I just want everybody to remember that this is the man right here,
All right.
today and in person.
I appreciate the invite.
All right. Thanks a lot.